Hi everyone, this is Henry, and I've just got back from the Cavalier 2020 Wargames show in Tonbridge in Kent, and I picked up a couple of things there and I thought you might like to see them, and also I'll weave into this report, if I'm able to, perform a bit of iMovie magic and include a few of the photos I took of some of the games that were there that I saw. But anyway, what I'm going to do first of all is turn the camera around so you can see what I got at the show. And I'm going to do a live, not exactly unboxing, but unpacketing, so you can see exactly what these things are like as they come out of the packet. Right folks, so let's have a look at the first things that I picked up. At the stand of Early War Miniatures, where I had a chat with the lovely Paul. And if the camera's shaking, that's because Chuffy the cat's just decided to come and investigate what I'm doing. She's obviously going to be a regular feature of this show, but we will plough on regardless. Anyway, Early War Miniatures, loveliness in 20mm. And one of the things I said to Paul was, well, what have you got by way of jump-off point tokens for games like Chain of Command? And he said to me, well, funny you should mention that, he said. Didn't you know that we actually make stuff for Two Fat Lardies? He knows Rich Clark at Two Fat Lardies rather well, and they've had a discussion, and funnily enough, they make the jump-off points for Chain of Command. I'm sure there are other people who do it as well, but, you know, that's one of the things that Paul does for Two Fat Lardies. And lo and behold, if I pick this up, you can see, ooh, 6 jump-off markers in 20mm scale for Chain of Command rules. Wow, price £10. 6 for £10, that's not bad. Let's open the packet and see what it actually contains. It's quite light because it's resiny stuff, obviously. Let's open it up with my trusty Leatherman penknife, but that is not intended to be a product placement. On the back, as they always do on the back of the little thing, which I've now torn in half because I'm careless, they show what's in the packet. But let's have a look for real. Here's the packet. Let's open it up and have a look. Ooh, we like those. So what we've got is a selection of kind of crates and oil drums, and it looks like there's a little puddle or shell hole there. Oh, actually it's probably a campfire, isn't it? Using an oil drum, so you pour petrol into the thing and set it alight, and hey, depending on where you are, but that's the thing they used to do. So these are rather nice actually. I like those. Let's get that closer to the camera itself. Can you see? An oil drummy thing with stuff, so presumably netting, webbing, stuff chucked over the top. I mean, a good paint job obviously will turn that into whatever you want it to be. Here's the thing with this sort of oil drum campfire thing, jerry can campfire thing. I'm sure there's a name for these, and someone will say, oh yes, you should be referring to that as a thingamy. I don't know what it is, but anyway, there you go, there's that one. And another oil drumsy thing here. Okay, that's rather nice with jerry cans and bits and pieces. Lovely. Some crates, ammunition crates, that sort of thing. Lovely. I think what I'll do is actually I'll bring my light a little more behind, pardon the noise, so you can get these darker castings. There we are. Is that better? Look at that. Wonderful. And another one with sort of crates and what have you. Those are very nice. I like those. And for half a dozen for a tenner, there's, you know, enough jump off points for both sides probably. Very nice. So I'm really pleased to have picked those up. Very pleased indeed. Thank you, Paul. Those are excellent. Right, what else have we got? Now, a game I saw there, and I will put a photo in amongst this somehow. was a game by Aid, one of the games down in Kent, who's been around the circuit for years and years and years, and always puts on very interesting and unusual games. And what can I say? He put on a game featuring the Thai Civil War, which I confess I knew nothing about. The Thai Civil War, 1930 to 1942, the Royal Army of Thailand, 12-man rifle section. So this is completely new stuff to me, completely new. And I imagine it will be fairly completely new to most of you too. So here's a couple of flags as well. On the back you can see, very nice, featuring an elephant, and there's a very old photograph. Don't know if you can, how well you can see that, but there we go. So let's open these up. This is very unusual subject matter. I'll try and open this up a little more carefully because I'm fairly certain there's quite a lot of information contained here. It's just with a bit of sellotape down the side by the looks of things, so I'm just carefully run my trusty penknife down the edge to separate it out. Right, and as I suspected, there's loads of useful information. It's amazing how much information you can just cram on to such a small little leaflet. The Army of Siam, 1930 to 1942. Look at this. Different tools they can have on them, and jackets and knives, and there we go. And giving you an indication of how to put them together. Look at that. Aren't they lovely? Very interesting. Very, very reminiscent, of course, of the French poilus, by the looks of things, of the First World War with that helmet. Were they supplied by the French? Have I just by looking at them discovered something? That's interesting. Maybe they were supplied by the French. I don't know. Those of you with more knowledge than me will know the answer to this. Anyway, nice bit of information there. So let's now actually get a few of the figures out. Let me move my jump off points. Okay, let's open the bag. Inside the bag, pardon my clumsy thumbs. Oh, look. Oh, so there's a bag. There's more bags. Bags and bags. So, here we go. So, what we've got, I see we have the bodies here. Ah, this is interesting. So, what we have here are the torsos and legs. Okay, and here's the casting. They're lovely little things. Okay, aren't they? There we go. Very nicely done. I'm looking at that. I'll check with my glasses on, but I'm struggling to see any flash on those. Those are lovely little castings. Let's pick up this guy who's firing. Lovely little casting. Super. Okay, so what we've got is a selection of a couple of guys firing, someone marching, a couple of guys advancing. Let's see if I make sure I keep these in frame for you. Sorry about this. This is all making it up as I go along. A couple of guys kneeling, firing. Someone there lobbing a grenade, by the looks of things. That looks like he's probably lobbing a grenade, doesn't it? And someone just sort of marching along. There we go. And someone prone. Nice little prone figure. So there's a selection there. And then, what we have here is another packet with heads. Oh, yes. So here we have a sprue with heads on of different kinds. I don't know how close I can get that and still keep it in focus. Something like that. There's those very French poilu looking heads, front and back. Okay. Very nice. So there's your heads for you guys. There's a ruler to give you an impression. You can see here 10, 20. If I turn this chap on his side, without a head, of course. So he's just under 20 mil without his head. So with his head, that's a pretty true 20 mil miniature, I have to say. So with his head, he's going to be about 20mm. And what I've got here is a pair of tweezers. So I can pick up this tiny thing and perhaps bring it into view there. Ah, that's better. That's rather my big fat fingers. See? Holding it with tweezers reveals all. Look at that. Wonderful little backpack. There we go. There's a little backpack. A couple of them. What have I got here? Some sort of little box thing as well. And some beautifully crafted little rifles. Whoa, hold still. Oh, they're so small. I'm going to struggle to show you that. But let me try holding it with the tweezers again. No, not that one. Let's try this one. Bear with me, folks. This is live. This is live. Look, there's a rifle. Oh, yes, look. Now you see. See, now you're impressed, aren't you? Look at that beautiful little thing. It's tiny. It's a tiny thing. So what a nice set that is. And completely unusual. And then we have another packet, which I shall open up. Whoa, containing, oh, it's like a Bren gun. It is. That looks like it's a Bren gun team. So let me move these chaps up and out of the way for a moment. So that was one set with bits and rifles and a little man and that box. And what we have now, goodness me, what tiny. Can you see that's a 2-man crew with, that is very definitely a, looks like a Bren gun, doesn't it, with that magazine out the top. Can you, where's the, there, here we go, there we go, look at that. There's the gun on its little bipod thing, and there's an extra thing, a leg or something, and an extra, is that magazines? Goodness me, these are tiny, look at that. Heads and more bits and another rifle. Look at that. So you get all that for, what was it? £10.20. Well, I think that's a bargain. That's lovely. So you've got a light machine gun team, all the separate heads, so that's a team of 2, and the whole lot makes up a 12-man rifle section. It says, in fact it tells me on the packet, why am I trying to guess what things are? It says it's a Madsen LMG, there we go, and number 2, NCO plus 9 riflemen in various poses with separate head options. Wow. Fantastic. Royal Army of Thailand. Never seen those before. Those are lovely. As I say, there's a striking resemblance with kind of the French poilu, which someone will have to comment on and say, yes, because in history, the French, this had a relationship. They bought from them, so on and so forth. Lovely little things. Okay, so that's the Thai chaps. I'm going to move those to one side just with a big scoop for the moment. Okay. So that's the Thai, guys. The other thing that Paul gave me to look at were Japanese. So we've got a Model 92 7.7mm heavy machine gun carried by 5 crew plus accessories for £6.80. So get my trusty knife and let's open that. Okay. What do we got here? Be careful. Obviously, I'm leaning over my camera while I do this, so it's not ideal. So at home, hopefully, you won't be in quite so much risk of not seeing where your fingers are and lopping them off. Here we go. So again, it shows you, gosh, now that's a thing, quite with a spread out trail and everything. Goodness me, it says just dry fit parts together before gluing. Very sensible advice. And that's what you get in the packet. There's the little picture of the guys you get in the packet. So let's again open the packet and let's have a look. Ooh, that's going to be more stubborn, so I'm just going to rip that off. Call me a vandal. Okay, as long as I keep them separate, I'll be able to put them together. Eh? Wow. Oh yes, these are really classic Japanese chaps. Yeah, look at these little diddly bits coming out, folks. Wow. Okay. So, here's these wonderful kind of strut type legs. That's quite a contraption, isn't it? To fit together. Little bits. Look at the little bits. Little bits. Lovely, right? Look at how clean those rifles are. This is 20mm, folks. These things are. I shall move the ruler next to. Look at those. How crisp they are. And now we've got the 5 crew members. That looks like there's what, an ammunition box or something. Yep. Let's move those up so you can see them. Okay. Again, we've got a couple of spare heads in here. Okay. These are tiny. Again, this is a tweezersy job. Let me get a tweezersy job and bring it up into view. It's going to focus. There we go. Little head with a helmet on. Look at that. So be careful when you unpack these, folks. But look at these. These are wonderful. Look at the character in this. Look at this guy carrying. Look at him. Now that's got another gun, another little rifle. Look at that. But without the bayonet. Look at this chap. Look at that. So he can be carrying the machine gun. You see the holes in his hands there. Obviously the trail, the thing here, would no doubt fit his hands. I'm not going to try and pair them up because I'm just trying to do this little video. But anyway, gorgeous little figures. Absolutely gorgeous. If I turn them actually so you can face them again, very little flash. I can see the underside of the bases are probably going to need a bit of a file, but you'll probably be sticking them on a base anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. But yeah, look, if I put the ruler next to them, that's how big they are. Not very big. Beautiful little things. Love those. That's very nice. So that's the Model 92 7.7mm heavy machine gun carried by 5 crew and accessories, and that was £6.80. Again, very useful pictures on the back showing you how it would be operated. That's fabulous. It could be used in the anti-aircraft role. That's one of the reasons for the long lanky legs on the mount. Look at that. So that's jolly useful, and anyone who's played Chain of Command knows that having a machine gun team with the ability to deploy for anti-aircraft fire can be a very useful thing. I'll say no more about that. Anyway, that's lovely. That's lovely. Let's look at the last packet from Early War Miniatures. Again, let me just scoot those momentarily out the way so I don't get them mixed up. Okay. The last thing I got was, again, Japanese. Model 92 Lewis type LMG direct fire and AA mount 5 crew and ammo boxes. I'll point out to Paul, I'm an editor, Paul, so it should just be BOXES. No apostrophe required, my dear fellow. But anyway, let's have a look at these. Again, careful with the old penknife. Let's just whiz through there. Whiz through there. Okay. Open it up, because there is a staple. The little plastic bag is stapled in the centre to the leaflet, so be careful. You could use a proper staple remover, but not necessary. Again, jolly useful leaflet. Look at that. That's what it should look like when it's assembled, folks. Okay, so you can put it together in either direct fire or AA modes. And there's more pictures on the back. Okay, so that's the reference, and again, you have a little bag that I'm going to tear because I'm impatient to get the innards out. Okay, so let's move that to here. And right, here's your crew bits. More heads. Ah, seated and kneeling crew on this one. Oh, look at that. Oh, goodness me. This is where I reach for my glasses at this point to check out. What do we got here? Oh, so it's a guy kneeling. You see, I've got my big fat fingers in the way. So he's kneeling, right? But he's got no head at the moment. Hence the spare little heads again. Wonderful spare little heads. And if I again get my trusty tweezers and I can show you a typical head, because the Japanese had all sorts of different headgear. Some of them are quite dramatic. Here's a little head. There we go. Look at that little head. Fantastic. To go with kneeling gunner. And also we have, oh yes, man with binoculars, spotter. Look, that's really nice figure. I like him. That's cool. Another kneeling figure. Okay. Holding something, passing ammunition. I'll have to look at what the reference said. But there we are. Lots of flexibility. Several rifles without bayonets. You can see in the middle there. Beautiful, sharp little castings. Here's another chap kneeling, serving the gun, and the gun operator astride, operating the gun with the spare heads. There's another packet. Don't go away yet. Oh yes, lots of bits. And in this one, we have the gun itself. Let me pick that up. So it's a Lewis type gun, this, isn't it? Let's hold that. Come back. It pings. Be careful with your tweezers. This is giving you fair notice that these are small parts and need to be handled carefully. There we go. That's the beast itself. Very nicely done. With the grip and everything. And the mounts here. Okay. Like so. And the other bit. Final bit. Okay. So I would say those are all really nice little sets, aren't they? That one sets you back £6.50, so a bit cheaper than the other one. But I would say those are really good value for money. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crew, plus heads, plus additional weapons, plus the machine gun, all that lot for £6.50. This is one reason I love 20mm as a gaming scale. Good value for money. And of course these are all compatible if you want to. No one will bat an eyelid if you want to mix things with your air-fixed Japanese World War II sets from yonks ago. You can do that. It's the same scale. And of course there are other figure manufacturers are available. But these are early war miniatures. And I want to thank Paul for giving me those samples. Very nice. I'll do an overall shot in a minute. But there we are. So I've had 2 machine gun sets and the Thai Army set and the chain of command jump off points, all from Paul at Early War Miniatures. And I'm going to gently scoot the miniatures out of the way because you want to get hold of Early War Miniatures. Let me move that out of the way. You can of course go to their website, which is, as it says at the top, earlywarminiatures.com, and the website looks like this. Oh yes. It's like you're scrolling down the website, isn't it? It's very exciting, ladies and gentlemen. But there we are. They're showing off their Japanese 20mm anti-aircraft, anti-tank, automatic cannon on the front page of their website. And they've been at York, they've been at Bournemouth, they've been at Folkestone, and today in Tonbridge. And the next time they're out is going to be at Hammerhead up in Newark very shortly. Okay. So go and have a look at earlywarminiatures.com, as it says at the top of the page there, and go and have a look, and I'll put the link under this little video. Okay, thank you, Paul at Early War Miniatures. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you, so those were samples from Paul. The next things I'm going to show you, I bought, because I'm a bibliophile, and I couldn't resist what was on offer at David Lanchester's Military Books at the show. One of the longest web addresses you're likely to see, davidlanchestermilitarybooks.co.uk. It's there at the bottom. Very nice guy. We had a conversation in which he revealed that he used to know and play games with the late Bruce Quarry, who many of you out there may remember, the Airfix Guide to Napoleonic Wargaming and Napoleon's Campaigns in Miniature and various other kind of World War II stuff, armoured warfare bits and pieces. There we are. They used to play games together. I'm going to have to get David on my Battle Chat show, aren't I? But anyway, I bought some books from David, and I'll just quickly show you what I got. Because I'm an old school nut, and this is in beautiful condition, Terry Wise's Introduction to Battle Gaming. Now, I've already got a copy of this, but this was in such beautiful, pristine condition. I thought, I'll have that. You can see it's in very nice condition. Very nice. Oh, pretty much good as new, I'd have to say. The cover, they very cleverly covered it to protect it further. A slight, bit of foxing, as it's called, and a little tiny tear there, but they've preserved it by swiftly covering it with acetate. Back in the day, 21 shillings this cost. That was over £1. But it was published in 1969, and this is a first edition. Clean as a whistle, so I'm a very happy boy about that. I'm going to be doing some posts, podcasts, maybe videos for my patrons on Patreon about these early wargaming books. And Terry Wise, the late Terry Wise, he died a few years ago very sadly, but a popular guy, and in his time innovative. Some of the rules in here are actually very interesting, but it also shows you this is really very much back in the day. If I show you, did you spot hills made of plasticine in these photographs? And there was a pillbox. Did you spot that pillbox that we zoomed past? There was a pillbox, look, made from an egg carton, and little bunkers made from cut out bits from egg cartons. You don't find people doing that these days, do you? No, because there are people who make all sorts of wonderful terrain from MDF and resin and plastic and metal. You tend not to find so many people nowadays using an old egg box to create their bunkers. Those were the days. You don't know how lucky you are, you youngsters. Anyway, I won't bang on about that. Anyway, that's the first thing I got. I spotted that and thought, ooh, lovely condition. I'll have that one. Okay. The next thing I got is another classic, absolute classic. Solo-Wargaming by Don Featherstone, which I would say, bluntly, is still the Bible for Solo-Wargaming. Now, this was first published, and look, hello, signed by the man himself. Dennis Meekins, whoever Dennis Meekins was, thank you very much for releasing your book into the world, because I'm delighted to have it with Donald Featherstone's signature in it. The author himself. What can I say? Fantastic. Beautiful condition, this one. I'm always on the lookout for beautiful condition. And this, again, is a first edition, 1973. So it was published in K&N Ward in London and Frederick Warne & Co. in New York, simultaneously in 1973. So this is a beautiful first edition. Someone has had this tucked away from cigarette smoke and away from sunlight and everything. And this is a classic book on solo wargaming. Donald Featherstone was an amazing guy, and he was a real pioneer when it came to solo wargaming, and obviously he ran Wargamers newsletter and songs magazines, so he picked up a lot of tips from other people as well. But this is the classic book about solo wargaming, and it still contains so many fantastic ideas that solo wargamers can use today. What I will put out is lovely photographs using a sand table. Yeah, Don Featherstone had a sand table. In other words, for those of you who don't know what a sand table is, it's literally like a big table. I think his was something like 8 foot by 5 foot, built kind of as a trough on very strong foundations, a trough about 5 or 6 inches deep, into which he would pour, well, how many? It's like half a ton of sand, fine sand, and then by damping it and patting it and drizzling it with coloured chalk dust and all sorts, he would create very realistic looking terrain. And obviously one of the advantages of doing that over baseboards is you've got no joins, no join lines. It's a beautiful realistic kind of landscape onto which you can place your troops. Back in those days, of course, look, no multiple basing, they're all individually based. They're just the models painted and ranked up next to each other. By using a sand table, of course, you can actually sort of push them into the sand slightly to get a bit of stability. But he also reported that occasionally he'd be playing a game and a miniature that had been lost in a previous game would suddenly pop up, emerge from the sand inconveniently. But it's a wonderful thing. You tend not to see that these days. I personally don't know of anyone who's still got a sand table, but anyway, lovely maps. He always had lovely maps and things. I'm a map nut, these kind of things. He did a lot of examples set into northwest frontier. Look at this, marvellous stuff, building up kind of a narrative of a fort with British troops and native contingent going out to kind of pacify the natives, setting off, and you do the whole thing. So the whole story of them doing a parade and then setting out from the fort and keep newsletters and stuff. Just wonderful, wonderful stuff. Again, this is a book where I am going to go into some depth about some of the things used in here, and I do mention it in my forthcoming book, Wargaming Campaigns. There are mentions of some of the techniques he used in here, because bluntly, even in the intervening 40 odd years, no one's come up with any better ideas. Fantastic book, really chuffed to have got that, signed by the master himself. Again, I've already got this, but when I saw this superior copy and it was a good price, I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but it was a very fair price, so I thought I'll have that. And what I'm going to do is sell off my own editions, previous not so tip-top quality ones, and sell those off for charity, for combat stress. Next, I bought this, Battle Tactics of Napoleon and His Enemies by Brent Nosworthy. Brent Nosworthy, big name in military history. This, a whopper of a book. This was first published in 1995, so it's not that old in book terms, but it was a gap on my shelf. A book I'd heard about and hadn't got. And it covers... well, let's have a look at the contents. So, tactics in 3 Napoleonic battles, emergence of tactics, psychological basis of tactics, infantry tactics, impulse system of warfare, revolutionary warfare, French, the whole thing about the rise of the French army and their tactics, firepower, small arms, cavalry and artillery tactics. It's a big old book. It is, it's almost as big as one of my books. Do you know what? How funny. It's 516 pages, plus it's in bit. So 520 pages. It's actually the same number of pages as my Wargaming Campaigns, but published 95. The paper was thicker back then. So it's actually thicker than my Wargaming Compendium. But... mine's still heavier. I'm proud of the fact that I've got a heavier book. So, lots of words. Won't bore you with that, but that is a cracking reference book for military historians, particularly people who are fans of Napoleonic wargaming. Absolutely one of the standard works. If you're wondering why I've got magenta on my finger, it's because I just changed the printer cartridge, by the way, and it went all over me. The final book, the final thing, is this. Olmütz to Torgau, Horace St and the campaigns of the Austrian Army in the 7 Years' War, 1758 to 1760. Again, I've been looking at this for a while. It's from Helion and Co. publications. I love the cover, love the artwork. Translated from the original German. Helion and Company. This was published, let's have a look. When were you published? You were published in 2018. So quite new, a couple of years ago at the most. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I can't impress upon you. This book is thinner than the Noseworthy book, but it's a lot heavier. And in fact, has got a lot of thin paper in it. And it runs to, I think it's over 700 pages. Yeah, about 710 pages. It's a whopper. And it's, as it says on the cover, it's the account of this chap's involvement in these campaigns. And it's really lovely because it looks at the Austrian perspective in the 7 Years' War. I think most people sort of have focused really a lot on Prussia and Prussia's capabilities, but this focuses on the Austrians and covers a number of the major encounters in the 7 Years' War, and particularly the very bloody Battle of Kunersdorf from the Austrian perspective. And it also, I can see here, goes into different people's thoughts about the battle. The account of Saltykov, the account of the king, the account of General Platen, the account of Tempelhof, and so on, with Marshal Daun, very famous general in the Austrian Army. Fantastic stuff. If like me, you love the 18th century and the 7 Years' War, what a cracker of a book. Absolutely thumping thing. And then it goes on to 1760. Lots of stuff. There you are. You can see the contents. Okay. Lots of illustrations and stuff. Lots of illustrations. This is the list of illustrations. Wow. So there's plenty going on here. What a fantastic, beautifully produced book. I mean, hats off to Helion. That is a lovely piece of work. Very neat and tidy layout. Very elegant typeface choice. Very easy to spot what's a heading or a subheading. As a graphic designer myself, I know what kind of a job this is. That's a monster job someone's done there. That's a lot. And it's very nicely done. And that's a huge piece of work. This is a really huge piece of work. So it's going to be one for the really dedicated 7 Years' War aficionado. Here we go. We've got maps and lots of maps. We like maps. Let's turn that round. Okay. Situations during the campaign, battles, and so on. Oh, look, the retreat of the king. There's a lot of work been put in here. Beautifully, beautifully done. The attack at Hochkirch, that's hard to say, Hochkirch, and so on. What a beautiful, beautiful book. It's all black and white, there's no colour, but that doesn't matter. This is a book for the serious fan. And look at this. The raid of General Angern on the night of 21st, 22nd of July. Look at that beautiful diagram there. Classic Vauban style fortress with bastions and ravelins and redoubts. Absolutely fantastic. I love that. So, and Breslau, I could get carried away. Lots in here. Helion. If you don't know about Helion and Co., go and have a look at Helion and Co.'s website. It's stuffed full of the kind of books that real military enthusiasts love. And this is a whopper, and I got it for a very reasonable price at the show. Again, I'll have to look at my receipt to see precisely how much, but that's a beautiful thing. So that's my little clutch of things: the Olmütz to Torgau, the Noseworthy, the Solo-Wargaming, and the Introduction to Battle Gaming. So I have come away, and I'll hold the camera up so you can see, a very happy little boy with my acquisitions at the show. Very happy indeed about that. And I hope you've enjoyed this little saunter through the what I've got at Cavalier and those lovely things from Early War Miniatures. And as I said, I'm going to tag on the end here some pictures of the games that were taking place at the show. So thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, bye.